everybody, Musescript here, and today I'm going to be doing the long-awaited director's commentary to Tenebris the Movie. Now, there's a couple of reasons why I was pushing this back a little bit. First off, when I would usually do these director's commentaries, it would be like 1 month after they were released, but 1 month after this was released was Christmas, so obviously that wouldn't work. The other reason was because I was trying to debate whether or not to do a director's commentary, because about maybe a third of the movie itself was from previous things that got reused, like the Kala Goddess Christmas special and the flashback from the Demon's Daughter episode 6, which I already made commentaries about those two things already. So part of me was like, well, I don't really want to talk about them again because I've already done that. Anyways, but I have actually decided to do it because the rest of the film is completely new, I suppose, and there is a lot to talk about. And also, by the time I'm recording this, it will be 3 days until Round and I will go to Tasmania, which is very exciting. We're both very excited to go. But by the time you see this video, it will already be a couple of days after we have come back, 25th of January. Anyways, so yeah, for this director's commentary, it's going to be very interesting. I'm going to be jumping a little bit this time instead of letting the whole thing play through. So I'll be skipping the TCG Half Swarming and the Demon's Daughter episode 6 portions of the film itself. I will mention that the songs get skipped anyway because this was a production, this was actually the first production besides the shorts that I didn't actually have, I didn't make it a musical besides the ending song, so it was very interesting to do that. I'll show this image, which I showed, which would have been What Is My Happiness would have played, but for the movie's purpose, it was there as an in-between. Anyways, without further ado, I think I've talked on long enough. Let's get this director's commentary started in 3, 2, 1, and play. This video contains some scary scenes, blood. Oh yes, of course we have we always have the disclaimer, but this one in particular because of a scene which I will pinpoint later on.
The world doesn't accept you.
And these opening lines by Tenebris were actually from the teaser in the Nistverse 2025 Productions teaser, that thing.
Is to destroy the ones who hurt.
I wanted to try okay, so this is what's going on, but let's go back to the beginning and see how this all started, shall we? So, we have this first scene, which pretty much was adapted from the flashback images of the Demon's Daughter episode 2, but of course with that section only the goddesses were narrating it, so it was very interesting to actually have it played with
How may I help you?
with what was actually happening with all the voice actors. So we have Equestria Exploration playing as Hexar, and we have Pretty Pegasus Wings playing as Queen Aurora, and Lightning Spirit VA playing her husband, King Hesperus.
Hesperus, come quick! This old pony needs our help!
And this scene was also the first sneak peek for the film as well. And for the sneak peek, I didn't really have any fancy panning or anything like that, or adding the snow. That came later on. The sneak peeks are usually just to give a general idea of what to expect without giving too much away. So that's the general gist there. So yeah, a couple of the images were from the Demon's Daughter episode 2, but most of them from this scene were completely new to it. And then it occurred to me when I was working on this scene that I didn't actually have a background of this scene when I was working on the Demon's Daughter episode 2. So I had to try and get the colors from scratch again because I was silly enough to, you know, add the shading and everything without having the original colors available first. But I think I managed it pretty well.
I appreciate.
And what I really like about this scene in particular is that Hexar is talking about his sisters, but he's not really saying his sisters outright. He's just saying his family, you know, abandoned him and disposed of him. And of course, because of all the things going on with well, due to Hexar's influence, the ponies are not liking each other and they're turning on their own families. So Aurora naturally thinks that this is another occurrence of this, and by this point they've pretty much all forgotten about the rulers when Hexar's magic got too powerful.
Legacy.
And then we have this section where Hexar sacrifices himself. Well, sacrifices one of his components, and that component ends up being a bottle called Despair. And as you guys know from the Demon's Daughter, there are also a couple of fragments of the other 6 components of Sin in there as well. But of course, these two oblivious ponies don't know anything. They just see a random potion bottle.
I don't know. But we need to keep this bottle safe. For his sake.
Well, yeah, keeping it safe, and then they completely forget about it, which is actually kind of funny. And then Hexar emerges. Okay, so, oh gosh, when I was doing the premiere for the film, not naming 2 individuals in particular, but they kept simping over him every time he was on screen. And luckily with this director's commentary, I'm going to be skipping over the Demon's Daughter episode 6 flashbacks, so sorry P and Pink, you're not going to be simping over him too much in this recording. So yeah, this is pretty much the prologue to how Hexar got banished to Netherquestria and got his castle going and all that jazz. But of course he's very weak, so he can't really do too much.
Take it easy, Hexar. You're still very weak. Hopefully those ponies will help me carry out what I had started. But who will it be? My next heir.
I love that line because that's a very good intro to establishing the main protagonist of the film. Alright, so then we have the opening credits scene, and the animation for the opening credits was done by Equestria Exploration. They have awesome show-like animation, by the way. Go check them out. They also, well, yeah, of course they did the animation from the Demon's Daughter episode 6 flashback, which also features in the movie, but, you know, I'm skipping over that, so... Anyway, we've got all the voice actors appearing on the screen, and a main theme of this is a song that I composed back in 2019 called The Demon Inside. And when I was working on this film, I thought, you know what? That would actually be a perfect song to actually establish as the main theme of the film. So that's why the main theme playing in the opening credits, title opening credits, is pretty much a slower orchestral theme of The Demon Inside, which I thought works perfectly, and you're going to be hearing that theme quite a lot in the film itself, as well as quite a few other familiar themes. And I guess, yeah, it was actually my first attempt of scoring a film, kind of, so I was definitely putting my skills to the test, and I was very happy with how it turned out. And there's the logo, Tenebris the Movie. 11 years later. So what was very interesting about working on the art for this was that instead of setting it into scenes, I set it into arcs. So the arc that we saw before was arc 0, and now we're at arc 1. And we have art here done by Fawning Melody VA. Yeah, Fawning does quite a few scenes in this movie as well. So in this flashback, Oh, kind of. Okay, so Celestia is supposed to be 11, and Luna is supposed to be 5, so she doesn't have a cutie mark yet, so that's supposed to be fillies.
Of course.
And then we have the Sarja boys. And then for a split second, you also see Huntrix spying on them. Well, I couldn't help it. When I was trying to draw like a crowd, I didn't want to draw too many ponies, so I was like, let's just put in the Sarja boys. And needless to say, quite a few people catch those cameos, so that's fine. Oh my gosh, the amount of times I had to get Flutterrose to redo the voice that I wanted. You know, the cute Luna voice.
Oh my.
Alright, and then we have Princely K. Coon. 1 out of 3 characters he's doing for the movie, which is the old mayor. And as he was quoting in his bloopers, he had to unleash his inner woman, his inner lady, in his prime. In her prime. Anyways. And he's also an amazing artist as well. Go commission him.
I hope you make something wonderful
He's
with
not
that
an
clay,
artist
dears.
in my
Make sure
productions
to show
though.
it to me sometime.
But he did help a lot with Piana Pod's Amore Cristiano in more ways than one. Yeah, that audio drama is awesome. Go check it out. Episode 2 is currently in production. Anyway, enough of that. Back to my own thing.
It looks like a
Alright, the scene here is done by Moonshine Canvas. And Moonshine Canvas's art is always very cute, always very adorable, very basic backgrounds, but that's just the style of the art, which is very
How
cute.
about we take turns with making this toy? I'll start with the shape.
So we just have this whole montage of the princesses making Tenebris, but I guess I didn't really specify how big the doll was. So the default that Moonshine Canvas went with was kind of like small, like smaller than I thought it was going to be, but that's okay. Yeah, I guess Tenebris doesn't really change size, at least that's not what I was thinking. She's only a little bit smaller than Luna at this point, but I guess to make it easier, maybe I've got the headcanon now that Tenebris as a doll like started out very small, but then when the the component of despair fell on her, then she got bigger. So that's what I'm sticking with. I'm sticking to it.
I think I'll call her Tenebris.
Tenebris?
And then of course we had the whole all throughout the Nistverse, Flutterrose would always pronounce Tenebris' name wrong. So then in the Demon's Daughter episode 7, I was like, I inserted a line where she was like, now I regret calling her name wrong all these years in spite. And I had the comic saying, why were you pronouncing your name wrong? My name wrong when you were the one who came up with her name in the first place. That sort of thing.
Sorry we were gone for so long, but not to worry.
But
This should be our
I
last
made
royal
sure
expedition for
that
now.
everyone was pronouncing Tenebris' name wrong. Even in the flashbacks of the TCG Christmas special and the Demon's Daughter episode 6, that they'd been pronounced Tenebris, not Tenebris.
Why don't you go put Tenebris
I think
somewhere
those were
safe
kind of the only things I actually altered in those flashbacks, but I didn't really want to talk about them too much. I just thought I'd bring that out at this point, just so I don't have to, yeah, I don't know. Anyways. Now we go to Arc 2, which is 5 years later. And then, yeah, Luna is around 10 years old.
Let's go out and play.
Oh my gosh. I had to instruct Flutterrose to keep the Philly Luna voice to make things consistent with Demon's Daughter episode 6 and the Color Goddess half-swarming. And then, of course, we've got the science room. We've copied and pasted a whole bunch of science bottles. And then, for some reason, Queen Aurora thought it was a great idea to put Despair in the science room and then completely forget about it.
Please, able to pick up a ball with my hooves.
And so
Look
yeah,
at
at this point, Luna has gotten very good at levitating things
When I
at
was
this
a baby,
age.
I used to have all
Um,
sorts of
and
magical fruits,
the music that's
like
playing right
flying
now
toys. Mom
is
has got that special
Magic
spell
and
on
Science
me to
Hijinks,
memorize those
and it's
fruits.
mostly just a playful version of
closer.
Luna's theme.
Any
And
forms
Luna's
of
theme is
magic
pretty much the
weekend
melody of
until
Carrier
I was
Burden
ready to
from The
master it.
Demon's Daughter,
I know it's not
and
fair,
also Admiration from
but
The Demon's
good
Daughter as
thing
well.
is now I can use magic properly this
Oh yeah, she said I don't know what I don't know what Flutterow said, but the
Surely my
word
magic
was
would come out
spurts, but I think she said
right?
spurts.
I carried you with my hooves many
Sprouts?
times.
I don't know. Anyways, let's just have that as Luna being cute and leave it at that.
Yay! Isn't this fun, Tenebris?
And then we've got Luna swinging the doll
Luna,
around,
sweetie,
even though it's dangerous.
You could hurt yourself.
Huh?
And then we crash.
Oh no, Tenebris!
And then this, so I mean, this whole thing was
Tia, I'm so sorry.
it's kind
I
of stops
didn't
and
mean
starts
to.
for
Are you
with Tenebris'
hurt?
backstory that I released in 2017. This one was mainly word for word for that
I was
though.
trying to bring inanimate objects to life. Like this
And then that
apple.
image was also
That
from
one
The
didn't
Color
look
Goddess
very
episode
animated
9,
to
but I
me.
had it zoomed in
Never
because
mind that.
reasons.
How do you know Tenebris?
How did Tenebris get in here anyway?
I may or may not have gotten carried away
I
by magic
think
and
this
spells.
dialogue
Luna,
was
she's
new
fragile.
though. Like it was kind of expanding
might have been
upon this
damaged in the
particular
crash.
scene.
No, I won't let that be the case. She has
And
to
you
be
can
around
tell how
somewhere.
much I love drawing backgrounds and a lot of detail.
I want her to be-
I was being sarcastic there. The backgrounds are sometimes my one weakness. I don't
Yeah,
want to draw too
come
much
on.
stuff, otherwise it'll get
Show
tedious.
yourself. We're princesses, you know, and we're not afraid to use our royal guards on you.
This isn't funny. Show yourself now.
And then we've got the arrival of Tenebris.
Huh?
They walk over and then they see the pony.
Tenebris? You're alive?
There she is. And there's another image I did for The Color Goddess episode 9, with that one intro.
And use magic.
And then back to,
Whoa. Careful
yeah,
there.
then back to the new images.
This is
And then, as you can probably hear in the
like
score,
another
you probably
sister.
can't hear in the score because I'm talking over the thing, but I have about 3 different themes for the 3 different stages of Tenebris' life. In the early stages of Tenebris' life, I have the part that I play, which is the song from The Color Goddess Half Swarming. And then when she's around 12 or like after she starts feeding off grief, then it's What Is My Happiness is the main theme. And then Shadow Doll and other things, Fiery Orbs, are from when she's an
Celestia?
adult.
What have I told
Okay,
you
so
about
then we
experiments
have
in the science lab
Fawning
and how
Melody VA's art
dangerous they
again.
are?
It wasn't that dangerous.
And I think
And Luna.
she was
I warned
originally
you not
supposed
to
to do
levitate
the
your
entire
clay
scene, but she
sculpture
actually had some
around.
help from a couple of
You could
other
seriously
artists as
hurt
well.
some pony.
Maybe because it was a little long.
Blame them.
Because now we have art from Sophia May.
Girls, who's that behind you?
And Sophia's May.
Anyone should get the
I cannot speak. Sophia May's art is also very cute.
Tenebris? But how is this even possible? You were
I
only
just-
a clay sculpture not too long ago.
I just love this moment where, like, oh my gosh, we've got another daughter! Yay! They're just so very welcoming to Tenebris, and I think that's just the sweetest, most wholesome thing ever. It's very cute.
How wonderful it is to have another daughter. And no need to call me your majesty. Mom is fine.
Okay. Mom,
And then King
What's all the
Hesperus arrives.
Mom!
Dad.
And then no one knew
Young
that
little
this
Billy just
that King
followed me.
Hesperus wasn't the only pony that Tenebris would call dad.
A clear sculpture we made
She's got
5
2
years
dads,
ago.
everyone.
I accidentally brought her to life with a potion I was working on.
Well,
Although
what do you
one
know?
left to go
Another
collect
daughter.
milk
I
and never
always thought she
returned,
was plenty,
and
but now
Hesperus was the one who
my
actually
heart is
adopted
so
her.
warm. Welcome to the family,
Oh my gosh.
Tenebris.
Hexar going to get milk. That sounds like a joke that P would come up with. Anyway.
That.
And then we come to the third artist of this particular scene, Sweet Nightingale 1124. I think I said that name right, but I love this art. It is absolutely adorable, and I love the shading as well, and the expressions are drawn very, very
Try not to
cutely.
be gone
I think
too
I
long, girls.
asked Sweet Nightingale to do art, I think, but they said that it would actually take a while.
It's a miracle to you.
So, I mean, that's why I asked them like many, many months in advance. So that's why they were only able to do art for Tenebris the movie. But you'll see their art later on as well. That was just a clutch.
Oh, Princess
Okay, we
Celestia,
have one of the background characters, the baker, played by Jonah Hudson. Although it counts as more of a supporting role because this character actually appears in more than one scene in the film.
She hasn't tasted anything from the pumpkin
So this is a
before.
very significant
Well, why
scene
didn't
because
you
this is
say
the
so?
scene where
Is there anything
Tenebris
in
discovers
particular
her
you want to try,
favorite
little one?
food. And
Call me Tenebris.
you hardcore Nistverse fans know what her favorite food is. I actually don't remember why I came up with chocolate cupcakes to be her
Sisters
favorite
have an
food.
idea?
But
I know.
I mean, how can argue with chocolate cupcakes?
Oh,
They're the best. They're really good.
I have some
I haven't
already
actually had
prepared.
them in a while, but maybe I should.
There you go. Let me
And
know what you
let's just say that my drawings of cupcakes have gotten so much better than oh, you remember the drawings from oh gosh, the Color Goddess episode 2. We do not talk about how I used to draw cupcakes from the Color Goddess episode 2. And then this moment in the music is kind of like the intro to Romeo and Juliet love theme, like the very fast not trill, the very fast run up with the strings, and it's turned into a waltz.
I'm glad to hear it, Tenebris.
Oh yeah, how much would that be?
No,
And then, of
that.
course, yes,
They're on the
things
house.
are on the house because
It's a special
reasons.
time.
And also, I forgot to mention, I was going to draw more variants of bread, but then I thought, nah, I didn't want to do that. And then I used the shape tool a whole bunch of times, and yeah. Anyway, we've got this first image done by Sweet Dreams, and let's see, she was originally supposed to do the entire scene, but she could only get this scene done. But luckily, she does have a scene later on in the film which she was able to complete. But for this one, I just kind of finished off the scene myself. And Go Fish can sometimes be quite infuriating, but it is very fun to play.
Time for lights out.
And then we've got a lullaby version of the part I play.
Oh, Tenebris, you've had a big, exciting day today.
And they were able to prepare a bedroom already, which,
I love you.
well,
Sweet
I
dreams,
guess
my little
they've got a
Tenebris.
lot of wings in the castle and a lot of rooms, so they would have been able to make that work. Yeah, so Peacock came up with the names of the parents, and I came up with the designs. And when casting them, well, at the time when Pretty and Thunderspeak were still together, because I don't think they are anymore, but when they were together, I just thought it was a bit of a coincidence that I casted them both as the king and queen. We've got Despair, kind of like a heartbeat going on, like it's first showing itself. And this scene right here is done by Pink Escapade for obvious reasons. Not because they totally are a simp for Hexa, totally not. But I thought this was a good in-between section from the TCG Christmas special and the flashback from the Demon's Daughter episode 6, where the apprentice has finally awakened, and so he plots and schemes his next move.
And there are a lot of people that were confused about, like, why couldn't Hesperus and Aurora just fend for themselves? The most recent page of the comic, Fourth Darkness of Three Lights, actually explains that Hesperus and Aurora are canonically weaker than their daughters.
Alright, so we have the next scene, which was the direct continuation from the Demon's Daughter episode 6 flashback. And we've got the return of the baker, but this time it's not as happy as the previous one, because Tenebris is not hungry. Well, it was technically the goddess's fault that they had to erase their memories, and now that kind of drives the conflict of the film. The main conflict of the film, that they don't know what is wrong with Tenebris.
The nurses are there to fix you up.
And this image right here is from the Demon's Daughter episode 2. And that was actually the first glimpse of the baker until I actually properly designed him.
Are you alright?
And then we have the first instance of Tenebris collecting grief.
Are you sure you're alright?
I'm not sure what happened there, but thank you both dearly for your concern.
Are you sure we shouldn't call the ambulance?
Oh gosh, I'm reminded of the original fanfic reading, and I actually voiced the baker. Oh
But
gosh.
I'm not too sure about your sister.
Much better 8 years after that got released, that I was able to actually, you know,
This is very
get
unusual.
male voice actors to play male characters. It just shows how far I've come with my connections and all that stuff.
Tenebris, are you okay? Are you hurt?
I'm fine. I feel full again. But my stomach has stopped acting up.
But you didn't have anything to eat. Are you sure you're fine?
I don't know.
Yeah.
But I feel full.
I don't really have too much to talk about for the remainder of this scene.
Okay, then.
Other than it's like, as I said, word for word from the fanfic reading.
Yeah, I will.
Then we have the next section, Arc 6, which is also a reused segment, but since I didn't actually do director's commentaries to any of the shorts from the Color Goddess or
You have nothing to apologize about.
or the Demon's Daughter,
We can figure this out
I was like,
together.
okay, I'll have an opportunity to actually talk about this. This came from the Demon's Daughter short Meet Zelina, which also was a segment from Tenebris' backstory fanfic reading. And so that means we have Joe Pym playing as Zelina.
Please excuse us, Selena.
And of course, the short itself was essential to watch before
What it is.
the Demon's Daughter finale. I remember, oh my gosh. One of my past reactors, Miss MLP, I think their name is, was reacting to the the Demon's Daughter episode 7, but then got confused when Zelina showed up, and so then decided to, in the middle of the Demon's Daughter episode 7 reaction, to react to the prequel shorts. Oh dear, that ended up being a very long reaction video because they were also reacting to a whole bunch of other stuff as well. Anyway, in the original short, it didn't have music, but for the film, I then actually did score this scene. But here's a fun fact. I didn't actually get rid of the Coral Video Studio file for this short because I knew I was going to have it in the movie. So that was handy. I couldn't say the same thing about the TCG Christmas special or the Demon's Daughter episode 6 flashback. However, I had to re-edit those from scratch, although in TCG Christmas Special's case, that actually turned out to work well because that special was mainly edited in Movie Maker, so I didn't really have access. I didn't really utilize Coral Video Studios effects too much, with the panning and all that stuff, so that was kind of different. And yes, Tenebris has a cutie mark. I don't remember if that was utilized in the original fanfic reading.
And I only just got mine last night when I raised the moon.
Only got hers last night when she raised the moon because the goddesses erased their memory of the past week.
Just like raising the sun is mine, and
I think this scene actually works even better with music. It kind of heightens the tension a little bit.
I am sorry, but it is unchanged. I know what you're experiencing is strange, but in time your skill will bloom and flower.
Especially when it comes to this particular scene.
But I don't want this power!
With Tenebris feeding on Zelina's grief. And also bragging about how high my vocals can go, because I've got such a wide range. And I can also talk about... Actually, I think I did already talk about in the Demon's Daughter that it was Crowbar, one of my artists, who designed the Zelina's hut. And I did backgrounds from scratch for that. But they were first utilized in this short.
I have no doubt about it. She carries a dangerous
Even though
inside her.
I have gotten Zelina to rhyme, and it's very hard to rhyme things. Let me tell you, got a rhyming dictionary and all that thing.
Just what are you doing, Hexa?
Well, inside her, Hexile, that kind of rhymes, but it was supposed to be more of like, oh, she's dropping the act a little.
Sisters of mine, take my daughter away.
And then, of course,
from me.
this bit wasn't in the original fanfic reading because I hadn't actually created the concept of Hexar until the Color Goddess was finishing up.
Her anyways. If they keep her asleep forever, she wouldn't be able to fulfill her true powers.
And of course, at this point, he doesn't know what's been going on with Tenebris until the component shows up. And so he actually feels that extra power going inside. So then he decides to initiate the next part of his plan.
Maybe they decided to let her loose after all. If that's the case...
And then he uses the locket, which is used to showcase all the powers. Alright, now we come to this next section, which again is also technically another reused thing. This was a little snippet from the Color Goddess episode 6, the very first scene. So we've got art from Flash Feather, who was one of my previous artists. But then since they only did 3 images of that, then we have the rest of the scene finished by the amazing George Gaza, everyone. So yeah, he's responsible for my intro that I have now. And he also does amazing show-like animations on his channel. I think this scene was originally supposed to be animated, but I was like, you know what? It's also good to have stills. Stills are fine too. And I must admit, I really love how he drew each of the characters here, especially Tenebris.
What if I'm like this forever?
And I also, this is pretty much one of the last sections where the sisters are actually being comforting to each other before things go downhill.
Sisters stay together.
Thank you. I couldn't think of any better sisters than you two. I know you'll find a cure to this.
And then we have the montage. This is done by Coffeen. And this whole storybook section, I guess I was inspired by Frozen a little bit with the passage of time, and 6 years are going by with Celestia researching all sorts of things to bring Tenebris to normal, but nothing seems to be working. And then Hesperus and Aurora go off on their little outing, and spoiler alert, they never come back. I guess I was inspired by Frozen a little bit. So yeah, at this point, Celestia, I think, is around 23, and Luna is around 17 years old. And yeah, Caffeine had a little bit of animation
Maybe
here.
it's best if we tell our parents about this.
But Luna...
We can't keep this a secret forever, sister. Maybe they might know of something that can help her.
All right. When they come back from their retreat, we'll tell them everything.
And then we've got Tenebris hiding. Alright, so then we've got this scene done by Pop Studios. And this is one of the new scenes. And this was also the third sneak peek before the film got released.
We have to keep going.
And I was like, for this scene, I mean, it wasn't just a boring conversation scene. It was, you know, the big dramatic scene where these two characters die.
Something bad will happen to them.
Pop Studios art is quite cute, although when it comes to big dramatic scenes, not much is really done. So that's why in this scene, Pop wasn't the only one doing art for this. But their art is actually good for like going back and forth for conversation pieces. That I don't know.
Hardly been part of it at all.
Let's make this the last time.
And this makes it even more tragic because they were going to decide that this would be the last time that they would be away from their daughters. Well, I mean, well, they did get their wish, but not in the way that they want. A lot of people had their theories about how Aurora and Hesperus had died, and then I confirmed that they fell off a cliff. I mean, that kind of sounds anticlimactic, but this section actually showcases how not OP these two are.
By then, it would be too late.
In that case, we need to use magic.
Blame the elements. That was always their greatest weakness. And then, of course, surprise, the other artist in this scene is me, because I was like, ooh, I want this scene to be very dramatic.
Hang on, dear. Just stay warm. We'll try again once the storm clears.
Who was a smart pony and said that they should go out into the blistering cold to go to a retreat? Dear. They are really just deadbeat parents at this point in more ways than one.
We are going to make it out of here alive.
And then they kiss because they're married.
Hang on! I'll fly us to safety. You stay here and keep warm.
Put your magic in.
And I also have to admit, I love Pretty's acting in this scene. It's just so it's so good, so dramatic. And then Pop's arts again, and then my art.
I won't
give
up.
Oh gosh, this bit is so tragic. Here's Hesperus trying to be all heroic, and then his wings freeze. And then he loses consciousness and falls to his death. And so does Aurora. And they rip. Yep, that's me killing parents off. Hooray! And then this next scene is by MTRX Solidarity, or Canny. And Tenebris is around 12 years old, and she is struggling with this curse she has inside her now.
I don't care if I have to starve myself to death. I'm not hurting any more ponies.
And then if you prevent something for too long, it's going to overcome you. This is why, folks, you should not stop a sneeze, because otherwise it's going to become explosive.
I hate this, sister. I really hate this. Innocent ponies are getting hurt, and we can't do anything to stop
And then
it.
we head back
I
to
know,
the
Luna, but we've tried
backstory,
everything.
the fanfic
There's
reading.
nothing we can do about it. You've seen what it's like outside. Tenebris has now grown out of control.
You don't think that?
Yeah,
It
I haven't really been drawing their tiaras on them too much, even though that was kind of what I supplied my artists. So there are scenes where they have them and scenes where they don't have them. So, I don't know.
Tenebris?
And then we were supposed to have a nurse that that collapsed, but it just turned out to be Princely. And insert the second out of the 3 characters that Kay has voiced for the movie, which only has 1 line. Oh boy, now we get to this scene done by Pink Escapade. And this was probably one of my most favorite scenes to work on audio-wise. And yeah, and I think this was the scene where I was the most looking forward to seeing how it would be portrayed off the fanfic reading video. And I love utilizing reversed piano because it is so creepy, but it's so good. I freaking love it. It's amazing. But yeah, when Tenebris evil, her eyes are red and white.
Tenebris, you must stop. What you're doing is wrong. This power is consuming you. You're enjoying it way too much. You have lost all of your sanity.
I mean, I'm trying to think. It was kind of mainly word for word from the fanfic, although there were a couple of differences that I altered. Cause I will admit my writing back then was kind of cringe. So
What? A monster?
most of it was the same.
A dollar. That's what I've decided to call myself.
Yeah, there's that. That's what I decided to call myself instead of a pony. I think the original fanfic reading was like, I'm the only one of my kind, or something along those lines. But I thought, like, yeah, calling herself a dollar is probably make more sense than saying,
Our sister.
I don't know.
Well, is that the way you're going to be?
And then I'm also utilizing, like, trying to make the xylophones and Celeste more creepy by making them off tune. Microtones are also very creepy to utilize. And then we finally have the moment where Tenebris collects grief from her own sisters. And originally I was going to have a moment where all the moments of them together flash in her mind, but I think I just forgot to edit that in during production.
What am I doing?
But I think I still kind of got the point across. So yeah, Tenebris comes back to her senses after she realizes what she's doing, and then she tries to see that her sisters are okay, but at this point they're like, no. We don't want you anymore. You are a threat. You must leave. Well, mainly it's Celestia that does all the talking, but still.
Your powers have gotten out of control. I don't think we have any choice. You are no longer a pony. You are hereby banished out
And
of
then, yeah, we have Celestia using the Royal Cantaloupe voice. And I think it was also great. I mean, like, my acting was kind of lackluster in the fanfic reading, so I feel it was much better here because I've gotten so much better at emotional voice acting at this point. And then we had the theme of fiery orbs playing, but like a sad version of it. This might have to be one of my favorite scores I've done for the Nistverse period. Just because it showcases how far I've come.
Our sister. She's gone.
She's not our sister anymore.
And that's, I think, where it would cut, from the fanfic reading, it would cut to the next point in the story. But because I've also included Queen Aurora and Hesperus to be a bit more apparent, I suppose, in the special itself in the film.
Once we explain the situation
More
to them,
scenes were added.
they'll understand.
Let's hope so.
Like the guard coming in and saying that they have passed away.
We bring you to some
And the
unfortunate
guard here
news.
is voiced by Bill
The
N.
queen and king have perished down a cliff whilst heading back to Equestria.
What?
Mom, Dad.
We're incredibly
And this would
sorry
also
for
explain
your losses.
why Aurora and Celestia had the same
We never
what's
should
it called? Like, not headpiece,
Kept
the
pushing them.
same royal gear, I
We'll make it through
suppose,
somehow.
Princess Celestia.
because it is
we
the same
hereby
one,
make you the new
and
ruler,
it got passed
alongside
down to
your
Celestia
sister,
because Queen
Luna.
Aurora had died.
Are you ready?
And then we have the moment where Celestia claims her
Ready as I'll ever be.
claims her place as the rightful
Believe that
ruler.
after I've sent away one family member. We've lost 2 more. Now it's just us.
Meanwhile, we've got Tenebris wandering in the snowy landscape. She's been exiled, and now she bumps into the cave. And this is pretty much the backstory of how she discovered the demon caves and made them her own. And she uses magic to put the 6 gemstones on the front of the cave. And she slowly makes her way in. I think when I first established this in THS episode 9, she was like, I don't care, I'm just gonna cause trouble and stuff. But here, I've actually, demonstrated, nope, she was very sad and devastated about this whole thing. I think in her retelling, she was just kind of bitter about it. And this is how she comes up with the demon falls. She mentions Celestia and Luna's names, and then they magically appear in front of her. So yeah, those 2 fairies are supposed to be Celestia and Luna, but of a similar age to each other. And I think this particular soundtrack, the Demon Falls, I absolutely love it. I was utilizing a whole bunch of choir sounds and harp and a whole bunch of other things.
You're only a little bit shorter than me. So maybe you're at the age you got your cutie marks?
And I love how she came up with them was purely an accidental thing, and then the 2 Demon Falls just kind of transform into a little path for Tenebris to follow until they disappear.
What was that all about? Were they creations of mine? I wonder.
And then she finally uses her power to conjure up all of the demon foals of all the ponies that she had hurt and collected grief from. So somewhere in that little collection is probably Zelina's demon foal as well.
Smoky figures of everyone I hurt.
But of course, it was a whole bunch of copy and pasting for the most part. And then we have the demon foal cult, played by Raptimon132. And the 3rd character that Princely K-Kun voices, the Demon Foal filly.
Feeling. That's what I inflicted upon them. Upon everyone. Maybe they're
And
like
I'm
this
also
because
incorporating like a round or a cannon
the experience
with
we
my
had receiving
vocals.
their cutie mark, their first taste of despair,
And like a hopeful version
that can help
of
them model into mares and stallions later on in life.
fiery orbs.
This is my safe haven. These falls can help me thrive, and I won't have to hurt anyone. I shall name them Demon Falls.
And so yeah, that's where Tenebris stays for the next 10 years. Not causing harm to anyone else. and sooner or later she would use a magic, some kind of magic, to have the demon foals appear when they first get their cutie marks. Alright, and then we cut to the next scene done by Marianne Studios. And this is supposed to be 10 years later, so Celestia's mane is now her usual rainbow colors.
You did what needed to be done.
Whilst Luna's mane stays the same because, you know, we all saw Friendship is Magic Parts 1 and 2, or Mare and the Moon Parts 1 and 2. The first 2 episodes of the show is what I mean. Oh, okay, and then we got this cool moment where King Sephiroth has now entered the film, and his vocals are panning all over the place.
Show yourself.
So yeah, King Sephiroth exists, and this is actually, I wanted to showcase the actual exchange of him letting the rulers know that, oh hey, we're going to attack your kingdom, and keep it for ourselves, you know? But yeah, of course, because of how powerful he is, he presents himself as a hologram. He does have a habit of doing that, but it was really cool having narrator voice the evil King Sephiroth again. It had been so long. I think since the Demon's Daughter episode 7, I think was the last time he voiced the evil King Sephiroth. Even now, I'm still trying to figure out where his face is. I see his birthmark, but I can't figure out where his eyes are. But it's okay.
Prepare yourselves.
7 days.
And then I'm also reminded of how far Marianne Studios' art has come since I first recruited her back in, oh gosh, 2019. TCG episode 6. Her art has drastically changed over the last 6 or so years, and it's become one of my favorite styles. I've even been seeing it in some of Scribbler's things as well, which is very cool.
Wait. Where are you going? If I'm preparing the armies, what will you be doing?
So in this scene, Celestia is deliberately getting rid of her tiara and her chest piece. I'm calling it her chest piece, and giving them to Luna. And since she doesn't know where Tenebris is, she kind of uses some sort of search spell, and she wanders around for about a week trying to find Tenebris in the blizzard. So she uses a tracking spell. And the art here is done by Sweet Dreams. I told you that her art would return later. And well, it was a short scene, so it makes sense that, yeah, Sweet Dreams would do art here.
Please let me through. I need to see my sister.
And then Sweet Dreams also supplied a separate vector for Celestia, so I'd be able to do some vector animation as Celestia walks through the doors, and then the doors shut behind her. And then we have this next scene done by Sweet Nightingale 1124. And this was the original scene that Nightingale was doing before they also helped out earlier on in the film.
What are you doing here? I thought you
I think the reason why I had Celestia not come in with her royal gear was to just appear not as much as what's the word I'm looking for, as much of an authoritative figure, I suppose, because at this point Tenebris doesn't know what happened to her parents.
You were better off without me.
So I wanted to have that big reveal for much later.
Much has changed since then. The thing is, Equestria is in danger.
Because of me, I bet.
And yeah, this whole segment was also another one I was looking forward to adapting from the original fanfic, where it just has me talking to myself.
Hordes of wolves and dragons. Their king Sephiroth had declared war on us because of the amount of fresh land we have. With the size of his army,
I think let's see. Nightingale only did about 3 images, but I think that was enough to go back and forth between Celestia and Tenebris in a way. I mean, that's usually good. I mean, when I instruct my artists about how many images they can do, usually as long as they match, as long as they have enough to showcase what's going on in the scene itself. Like if it's an action scene, there's probably going to be a whole bunch of images, but if it's just a conversation scene like this is, there's only going to be like 1 or 2 images.
And they aren't normal ponies. They are invincible beings. They'll be able to withstand anything.
Are you sure you can control them? I know you've been here for 10 years, but that doesn't mean...
I can control them, Tia.
Yeah, Tenebris still feels a little bit bitter about being banished, but she also wants to prove herself. I think when Tenebris' backstory was first revealed in THS episode 9, Tenebris was the one that definitely convinced Celestia first. But then when I developed that in the fanfic reading, I had it as Celestia coming to Tenebris for help.
You mean it?
But if your demon foes are proven evil or fight against us, then I'll have no choice but to banish you for good.
Deal.
Are you sure? Are you willing to accept the consequences if your plan fails?
Of course. But I am positive that it will work. You can count on me.
And then here I am finishing the scene off.
So much.
Because,
you know that, right?
yeah, Nightingale didn't do a hug scene, so I did it instead.
As soon as possible.
All right, hang on to me.
And then, of course, Celestia is able to teleport back to... my theory on teleportation in my audio dramas is that you can teleport if you've got a clear image in your mind about where you're going. Hence why the girls couldn't teleport to the Kingdom Lands back in the Color Goddess, because they didn't know what it looked like. So that's why they walked. And also the same thing for Neverquestia as well. If you know where you're going, you can teleport there quite easily. Anyway, so the sisters have reunited again, even though Luna is like, what is she doing here? And then Tenebris conjures up Luna's demon foal. That's what that demon foal is.
This is a demon foal. A figment of
even though Luna has had the same hairstyle her entire life up until this point, I did still want to try and make her look older with each one, I suppose. So it wasn't until like her teen years and adult years that she would be wearing eyeshadow like she usually does in the show.
I figured she could create an army to try and hold the kingdoms back. According to her, they're indestructible. What do you think?
I'm not sure, sister.
Please, give me another chance. I promise I'll help you win the war against the Canims. I want to use my powers for good.
All right.
And because of how desperate the situation is, they are very quick to trust Tenebris for the time being. So you think this would end like a typical film where they live happily ever after and Tenebris is no longer banished and all that stuff. But then you remember that it is a prequel to a villain, a backstory. So you know that it's not going to end well for Tenebris.
You'll need these back.
And then as soon as Tenebris sees the headgear, then it connects that Aurora and Hesperus are no longer with us.
Mom and Dad. They're not here anymore.
And I think that impacts a whole awful lot, and why I added that in the finished product. Then of course, because I hadn't actually come up with the names of Celestia and Luna's parents back in the fanfic reading, I didn't actually add that bit in there in the fanfic reading.
And me too.
Thank you, Tia. Luna, what do I need to do?
Luna and Tenebris, you both need to follow me to the balcony. Once we get there, Tenebris,
I want you to conjure up all of your demon foals and unleash them onto the Canaan.
So this bit kind of explains how Tenebris was able to lose control, because she was conjuring all of them that she had collected. So yeah, over 400 demon foals is not going to be an easy amount to control.
Against the Canaans. All right. I'll try my best.
Alright, and then the next artist is Crowbar, and his scene's pretty much the reason why I put a disclaimer at the beginning of the film saying that there was going to be blood. And even then, with the next bit of editing, I wanted to try and kind of censor as much as I possibly could, because I didn't want to make it look too graphic, because I don't usually do that in my productions. Although I have not been minding grim darks recently, ever since I participated in Friendship's Tragic, but Crowbar did mention that he was a little bit inspired by Friendship is Tragic to go all bloody with the soldiers dying. Oh, and there's Sour Patch King's one line in the film where he plays a guard. And then King Sephiroth uses his powers to pretty much magnetize all of the demon foals onto his side. And there's the sort of destruction that was used to wipe out thousands of armies, just like so. And then at that point, the sword would have been destroyed. And then this segment is from, it was a little flashback from The Color Goddess episode 9. The dialogue's all the same, the voice recordings are all the same. Although the visual editing is, well, I had to do that from scratch again, but I kind of got the general idea of who was being panned and all that stuff.
Do it as quickly as you can. Luna and I will try to figure out another way to get rid of them for good.
I think there was a little bit more sound design as well for this scene than the original flashback from episode 9.
You ponies are no match for me. Taking over will be too easy.
Don't get too cocky, Sephiroth. Tia will find a way to get rid of you for good.
And then we have another scene from Marianne Studios.
Tenebris sounds like a much better name for her.
And that's when Luna's like, oh, screw it. I'm gonna call her Tenebris from now on.
Why didn't you help me research for a solution before the war happened? Instead, you had to bring someone untrustworthy.
Enough, Luna! Look.
I also want to mention how good my Celestia voice has gotten over the years, because in the past I've always had to pitch her voice down, but since my voice for her has gotten much deeper, I've actually gotten better at her voice. I also thank Life's a Breeze by Snoopy77 for giving me the opportunity to voice Celestia a little bit more, I suppose.
Oh, I see.
So then we have this scene where they're searching for a solution to get rid of King Sephiroth, and they find the Sonic Rainbow, but because their memories were erased by the goddesses, they still believe Heureka to just be a myth. And actually, I was rewatching the fanfic reading, and I must have come up with the goddesses early on, because I did actually reference Heureka in the fanfic reading back in 2017, surprisingly. I forgot I actually did that, but...
So who should perform it then?
I guess I did. There you go.
Sure. It seems like a lot of power even for you.
I can perform it once. I have enough power to do that.
I mean, we know that Celestia makes it through because this is only a prequel, I suppose. But this was mainly told in Tenebris' point of view, so we don't actually know the outcome of what happened to Celestia afterwards.
For I have a god's power.
And then as soon as King Sephiroth says, a god's power on my side, that kind of brings in a little image of Hexa before Tenebris was like, what the heck did I just see in my mind? And this is where Tenebris' hope finally gets dashed. And I have to point out that this image right here is such an epic shot, and I absolutely love it to bits. And we see the regret in Celestia's eyes as she's making the sonic rain boom. And Tenebris gets blown away by it. And so do, well, Sephiroth and the Kingdoms and all that. Oh, yeah. So, yeah, we just focus on Tenebris here. And because she was blasted by the sonic rain boom, now her eyes have changed color. Although, to be fair, at the moment, they look a bit more like Kingdom eyes, like Pixie Kingdom eyes at the moment. And a force field has been put around Equestria, so she can't get through.
If your demon foes are proven evil or fight against us, then I'll have no choice but to banish you for good.
Well, whatever you are.
And then it kind of
I know something
sinks
Our sister.
that she's a menace and she doesn't belong in Equestria. And it is very, very tragic. You almost feel sorry for Tenebris at this moment. And then we finally have Hexar show up. And he has been there throughout the entire film. He was there at the beginning and he's there at the end. And this is the moment where he manipulates Tenebris. But unlike the other apprentices that he recruits, I don't think he keeps too much... I guess he has just too much faith in Tenebris, so he doesn't really introduce himself. Well, because he thinks that Tenebris hasn't forgotten all about him, I suppose. And then we finally have the moment where her eyes finally change into the iconic Tenebris eyes.
Be known, Celestia and Luna. I will be back.
And this is a very epic moment because this is like, okay, this is Tenebris as the villain from the Heart Shell. She's finally been born as the villain.
But someday, that individual will meet her end.
And then it fades to black, and then we cut to several hundred years later, where we actually have a segment from the Heart Shell episode 3 when Rainbow Dash is with Fluttershy, Twilight and Rarity, and they're going through all the presents. And I actually re-recorded those segments because, let's face it, the recordings back in that episode were cringe. And it also showcases how much better my voice acting for those characters has gotten. And this is like the point of view from the Compass Watch guys, because I know the difference between a compass and a watch, I swear. And then Rainbow opens the box, and then it says to be continued in the Heart Shell. And the story comes full circle. And there we go. And then we have the ending credits song, which, as I mentioned at the beginning of the recording, was The Demon Inside, which I originally composed. And yes, adapted from the Heart Shell episode 0, originally from November 25th, 2017. Demon Inside, composed and performed by MuseScript, originally from October 30th, 2019, as a Halloween song. A standalone Halloween song that I decided to adapt because it was just too perfect. And the song that I did, I think, was just in Logic, but this version was made more epic with the power of East-West and also better microphones, I suppose. You know, my microphone is awesome. And then we have all the rest of the VAs. And then during this credit scene, we have the very first image of Tenebris and then the most recent image of Tenebris done by each artist. So starting with me, of course. And then we've got little Lynx. And then we got Flash Feather. So these were all from the Color Goddess mostly. MLP Wolfia the Wolf Girl. Oh, her art was really cool. Flutter Rose did some fan art there. Then we got Rolly Arts. Rolly Arts again. Oh gosh. Pink Escapades, first image of Tenebris, and then most recent image of Tenebris. Shooting Star, I think that art is from Evika. This art is Prisma Nocturnal Pony. Moonshine Canvas. MCRX Solidarity. And then Kara Pop Studios for that segment.
Sometimes the only way to relieve the pain is to destroy the ones who hurt you.
And then we got Sweet Dreams. Zoe and Guys. Sophia May. Equestria Exploration. Skylight Glow. Oh, Crowbar. That's lovely. Fawning Melody VA. Sweet Nightingale 1124. George Gaza. And Coffeen. I had a lot of artists that have drawn Tenebris over the years, which is incredible. And then, yeah, the end. That was the last piece of Nistverse media. And then I have my intro, which I've kind of used as my outro, because sometimes films have that. Kind of like have a little thing that they have at the end of the film after the credits are done. Okay, so that was my director's commentary for Tenebris the Movie. I apologize that I skipped the Color Goddess Half Swarming segment and the Demon's Daughter episode 6 segment, but I had already talked about those, and I will link those separate videos somewhere in the description or cards or something along those lines. But yeah. It was probably one of the most ambitious things that I had done. The longest thing that I have put out. It was a pain to export out of my video software, but it was totally worth it. I have exported long things out of my video softwares before. So, yeah, I mean, we got the Nistverse timeline video as well. That was like an hour and a half. It was quite long, although this one, yeah, this one's definitely the longest at an hour and 41 minutes. Anyways, enough of me rambling on. Before I finish off this recording, I also want to mention that I'm also releasing the completed OST video for Tenebris the Movie. That will be on my soundtrack channel in about an hour, or probably has already released by the time this video has, by the time you finished watching this video. So yeah. Anyway, I have talked on long enough. Stay tuned for future uploads on my channel. Bye! This is MuseScript signing out.